So Jake Paul and Tommy Fury finally agreed to fight each other. I know this is the third time they agreed, but I actually think this time it will actually happen. On February 26th, Jake Paul puts up his undefeated record, which is very important to him and everything he's building, up against Tommy Fury and his undefeated record. Now, we all know Jake Paul is that YouTube kid that's trying his best to be accepted as a real boxer, and this is the chance to finally be viewed as a real boxer. I know most people is gonna think, yeah, Tommy Fury is only known because of his brother. Is he really a legit boxer? People, a legit boxer is someone who has spent a decent amount of years in their life boxing. A legit boxer does not mean you are a high level fighter. It just means that you actually do boxing. Like, this is your, like, it is a major part of your life. I can honestly say for all of Jake Paul's opponents, even with Anderson Silva, this is his first time fighting a real boxer. Yes, I know Anderson Silva beat Julio Cesar Chavez Jr., who was a former world champion, and that's a very big win. But it's not like he was active after that and he kept boxing. He wasn't a real boxer. He is just good at boxing. Now, Tommy Fury, he might not be too good at boxing in the eyes of the public, but he has some amateur fights under his belt. He has a lot more experience than Jake. And, he has a couple pro fights. Now, has he fought anybody good? Let's check out his box record real quick. Now, Tommy Fury, he has 9 boxing fights. Now, let's check out his opponents and their records. Okay, his first fight, he fought somebody that was 10 wins and 102 losses. Second fight, 0 wins, 26 losses. Third fight, 2 wins, 26 losses. All right, he's stepping up a little bit. Fourth fight, 0 wins, 11 losses. Okay, he went back a little bit. Fifth fight, 0 wins and 9 losses. Sixth fight, okay, he fought somebody that was 2-0, but you got 2 fights at this point. Whatever. Seventh fight, he fought somebody who was 0-1, which is Anthony Taylor, who was an MMA fighter. So as much as you talk about Jake fights MMA fighters, he just did that. And he also was a former Jake Paul sparring partner. So, yeah. Okay, he fought somebody that's 10-1. He beat him. Okay. Dropped him once. Okay, that's something. I don't know the 10 people that this guy beat, but he fought somebody that was 10-1. And now, he's fighting Jake Paul, 6-0. Yeah, so I understand why people don't think Tommy Fury is a real boxer, because yes, he is not challenging himself as a boxer. He's literally kind of floating around. He's kind of part-timing it a little bit. Well, he's not really challenging himself as a boxer so far, but he does have a small amateur pedigree, which means a lot more fights than Jake Paul had, a lot more experience, comes from a boxing family. So this is the first time that Jake can prove that he belongs to compete against boxers. Or 2 things can potentially happen in this fight. One, maybe Jake Paul will beat Tommy Fury, and he'll beat him pretty convincingly. And because of that, he'll stop with the whole going after MMA fighters. He might still fight KSI because that's the biggest fight for him at this moment. But he might stop focusing on MMA fighters, and he might shift to fighting real boxers all the time. And then he might actually progress in the sport, or he might get knocked off by somebody, who knows. The second thing that can potentially happen in this fight, is Jake Paul can win, but it can be a very hard fight, and it'll make him kind of rethink his decisions of wanting to become a world champion. Because if you're having a hard time with somebody like Tommy Fury, then maybe being a world champion isn't too realistic for you. He might go right back to fighting more YouTubers or fighting more MMA guys and then drift off into the sunset, which is what I think might happen. I think it might be a hard fight that he will pull off. And if you're wondering why I didn't say Tommy Fury will win, that's because I simply do not think Tommy Fury will win this fight. Tommy Fury is a decent low-level fighter. He doesn't have the best style, but I would say he does come to fight and he throws a lot of punches. So if you're not one to be able to handle somebody throwing a lot of punches at you, he'll give you a hard time. That's why he's fighting these bums, these guys with 100 losses, or these guys who never won or who never fought anybody legit before. That's why he's shining against them. I think with Jake, even though he doesn't have that boxing pedigree, Jake has shown me something that none of these other YouTubers or people who just hopped on the trend of boxing showed me. Jake has heart. And one thing about that, you cannot teach that in the gym. So he has the money and he has the time to sacrifice everything in his life and only focus on boxing. So the skills is going to climb. So he got the skills climbing up slowly, quickly. Who knows? I'm not in his training camp, so I'm not sure. But he got the skills. He got the opportunity to increase his skills, but he has that dog in him. Jake doesn't back down. In situations, he already got cut. He already got wobbled. He fought fighters who came to actually win, whether they were real boxers or not. Tyron Woodley thought he was going to win that fight. Anderson Silva thought he was going to win that fight. He fought dudes that came to beat him, and he did not back down in that fear. I don't think Tommy has ever fought somebody that actually wanted to beat him. I think this is more of a test for Tommy Fury than it is for Jake Paul. And it's crazy to say that, me being a pure boxer myself. But this time, I think the person with the longer boxing background will lose either in clear fashion or he just won't be able to do enough or take some of the shots from Jake Paul. It's crazy, man. I hope it's a good fight. I hope he don't pull out. This is going to be his third time pulling out if he messes up again. I really want to see Jake Paul tested, and I feel like this is a good test for him to help him get to the next level. If you're new here, thanks for watching the video. If you like some of the things I had to say, make sure you subscribe. Make sure you like this video. Drop a comment. Check out some of my other content. And yeah, I'll be here dropping ghetto commentary, breaking down fights, breaking down some of my own fights. It's Super Tion, man. I'm out.